together in order to resist, repulse, repel. No more exclusion and violence. If there was no way to express the concepts, he wasn't to blame. I mean, words betray because they refuse to speak truth. No, he loved language too much to believe that. The truth was, words betrayed those who couldn't handle their power. Beautiful line. Those words betrayed pretension and falsehood, confused thinking. I mean, after all, Egypt, that's our southern Illinois, was in a fight for life against forces that would never relent unless confronted with strength, sufficient strength. And there's no way to soften that. But on the other hand, there was public opinion. That was a separate thing. And surely, wasn't that the way of the future? What beautiful words, no? I didn't write this. But there's a professor at the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana named John Griswold, who's an amazing novelist, who's one of my heroes. And I want you all to give a big hand to this incredible novel called The Democracy of Ghosts, about one of the most historic coal mining battles we had in Heron, written by Professor Griswold. Are you here tonight, John? Everybody give John a big hand. This novel won the Delta Award, very prestigious award from Southern Illinois University for Literature. Should be required reading for everybody who flicks on their life. Everybody who knows history, everybody who wants to know what it means to live in Illinois. Public opinion. Isn't that the way of the future? This is how I screw up the YouTube stuff. I just stood there with my mother, my Uncle Richard, and then we were at the rim of this lunar expanse of rocks and rut and broken earth. We had to protect our eyes, you know, the dark wind swept along the ridge, howling little eddies of fury. These huge trucks stormed in all directions. And there were just blocks of sandstone. They abounded like tombstones on some kind of battlefield, except here it was colorless. It didn't look like no battlefield. It looked like an earthquake had laid waste. Devastation. How green was our valley of Eagle Creek? That was the novel my mama always made me to read before John Griswold was even born. How green was our valley in Eagle Creek when my mom and I would walk these hills together. There was corn and sorghum tassels that jutted along the hills, and they were like ancient signposts. And there's the barn where Mom almost hung Uncle Billy. It was on accident. They were just playing. And there's the Garden of the Gods. That was ours, and we homesteaded that. And then we gave it up to come into Eagle Creek. A part of our family had been there since 1805, even before, but don't tell nobody. We were illegal squatters. And the rolling hills came down the Shawnee Forest, and my granddaddy would set me up and say, "What's that, son?" "Maple, sir." He was a big man, full of muscles. Oak, hickory, gum, beechwood, dogwood. And it would go on and on. This diversity that rivaled the Ozarks, that rivaled and revival, all the way to the Cumberland. And there was those grapevines that thickened up with danger. Those pine, we call those coffin pines. We didn't like pine trees because that was part of the reforestation crews. They would come in and plant coffin pines. Coffin pines, Granddad, what do you call them coffin pines for? Because when we came in as Appalachians, you would grow too. Hey, wait, you know, at the very end, the guy gets killed. You don't want to miss the end of the story. Coffin pines. Oh, I've already run your chancellor out. Now I can really mix it up. Coffin pines, because when we came in as Appalachians, we'd plant 2 yellow pines, and they would grow, and they'd be big enough so by the time we'd drop dead, we could use them to build our coffins. You see, we lived right by Eagle Mountain. In this cabin we had homesteaded since 1820. When we came in, waited 20 years so we could scrape up the money, because all these other people had owned land from outside these huge salt areas. You see, over there was the largest salt wells east of the Mississippi, west of the Appalachian Mountains, that drove us into this area. And there was the Garden of the Gods. We called it Anvil Rock in those days.